Welcome to day 98. We've got 1 Samuel chapters 3 to 5, Psalm 77, and 2 Corinthians chapter 8. We have the young child Samuel living at the temple. He's sleeping and he keeps hearing a voice. He's maybe 12ish at this time. He goes to Eli 3 times saying, "Are you calling me?" And Eli finally is like, "I think maybe God is trying to get your attention." So the next time he heard the voice, Sam answered and God spoke to him. Samuel was reluctant to share the message with Eli, though, because God shared that he was very upset with Eli's family and what they were doing, and that there would be punishment for Eli's family. Eli was, I have to give him credit, he was willing to hear this message. He recognized what was going on, and he continued to be a faithful mentor to Samuel growing up in the temple. Samuel stayed connected to God and became a true prophet for the people. He was holy, he was truthful, and he was a good leader on the prophet side for the people of Israel. Now, part of this situation with Eli's sons ended up getting caught up into a war that the people of Israel ended up having with the Philistines nearby. And the Israelites were not doing well in the war, so they decided to take their chest into battle, the chest of God, the Ark of the Covenant, as we would say today. Now, here, the thing for us to reflect is when we're making decisions, especially big decisions like, do we take something holy into battle with us? Are we doing it because God has suggested we should do this, or are we doing it because it's our idea? And frequently, when it's our idea, it doesn't end well. And that is what happens here. The battle goes badly. Many Israelites are killed, and the Philistines capture the Ark of the Covenant, the chest of the covenant. Eli's family is destroyed as this whole story plays out. But then there's this interesting little thing about the Philistines' god Dagon, who had his own temple. And when they captured the Ark of the Covenant, they put it in the temple next to the idol of Dagon. And the next morning they come in, Dagon's idol has fallen on the ground and looks like it's worshiping God. They put Dagon back, and the next morning they come in, not only is Dagon fallen on the ground again, Dagon's idol is broken. The arms are off of it. And so then they start moving the chest around because God is retaliating against the people of the Philistines for having taken the Ark of Covenant and kept it. And they keep moving it from city to city, and the people keep having problems. And finally, people are like, we don't want this in our city. How can we get this back to the Israelites? So I think the reflection for us as we go through here is, what role do we give God in our lives? Do we use God as kind of this superstitious talisman that, like a lucky rabbit's foot? If we have it close to us, things are going to be good. Or are we in a day-to-day relationship with God where we are partners in doing God's work in the world? I think those are two very different ways of using God in our lives. And I think this story really shows us the pitfalls that come when we're using God as a superstitious tool instead of the source of life and light in our lives, and a partner that helps us make good decisions to help build up God's kingdom and make the world a better place. When we turn to Psalm 77, this is one of the Psalms that starts off with someone yelling at God. This is a psalm of despair. My life is terrible. The world is terrible. Where are you, God? Are you anywhere around? But it is interesting, as the psalmist is complaining and wondering and doubting, they decide to sit down and make a list of all the good things that God has done, and they are renewed as they go through this list, and they are showing God's wonders to the world. And the bottom line is they decide to stick it out with God no matter what is going on in their daily life. Life with God is better in the end. In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, Paul continues talking to the church in Corinth. He is celebrating the ministry of the church in Macedonia as a way to inspire the church and the believers in Corinth. He points out the amazing work that the people in Macedonia are doing and how generous they are with their offerings to support the work of the church in other communities, even though the church in Macedonia is really quite poor. And the church in Corinth is really quite wealthy. And so Paul is using this inspiration to try and get the Corinthians to look again at their offerings and see where God is calling them to be generous in their life of supporting other believers and other ministries in the church. Paul really uses this inspiration as a way to bring the best out of the people of Corinth. And I think this is our reflection for the day. Who are we inspired by that God is working in the world today? And do we use that inspiration to make the best of ourselves, to be all that God created us to be? Or are we distracted by the things that we feel comfortable with? Are we complacent? Do we just want things the way we want them? Um, I think one way of thinking about this is when we are doing mission projects with others, do we come in with a bit of a savior complex, like we've got it all figured out, we're going to help you? Or do we recognize that I have deficits that can be filled by your surplus? You have deficits that my surplus can fill. And when we work together, we all gain something from each other and all of us can contribute something. I think this relational way of working together is a much healthier way for the long term. And it also does a better job of role modeling Jesus' life to the communities that we are in. So I hope you enjoy reflecting on this today and see how it affects your life and some of the ministry opportunities that you have in your life today. We'll see you next time.